Hello, welcome to Three Crows Runes. My name is Jen. Let's do some rune readings. Today we are doing, today it is Tears Day. It is the 10th day of the month of Juno, and the moon is full, so it's very exciting. But this message is for whenever you find this video, and for whoever this message is for. So let's get started with some runes. I'm using the birch runes. Let's see what message wants to come through today. Definitely that one. I'll build it, then I'll adjust. What message? What message? What message? Okay. Interesting. Hope you're doing well. Oh, there's Laguz again. That's interesting. I think that was in that position yesterday. Okay, interesting. So, your central issue on this message, for whoever this message is for, whenever you find this message, is represented by Ivaz. Ivaz is the rune of the yew tree. This has to do with patience, slow growth, slow development, taking things step by step, and moving between worlds and integration. A whole bunch of things. It looks like, based on what has preceded that, we have Manas, which is the rune of humanity and your part in it, and reversed, which it is. This speaks of turning away from the din of humanity. So basically, maybe there was a disappointment, maybe there was just feelings of yuck, and maybe it was just like, okay, you know what, I really have to look at this myself because I can't actually go with what everybody else is yelling at me to do. So we have Manas reversed leading up, which is turning away from the din of humanity. It's basically finding belonging with yourself at this point. So that leads up to this, which is the patience, slow growth, slow development, taking things step by step. So you basically it's like you're finding your way now, without all the clamor of people going, oh, you ought to do this and you ought to do that. So, and it's a long road. I mean, maybe you haven't had that before. Maybe you haven't needed to do that before because what everybody was saying to you was fine and you were okay with that, or else it was easier just to go with the flow. But now you're being asked to go with the flow of your own inner truth, which is really good, which is why we see Laguz as what's helping you. So what is helping you as we go on this long road of, okay, I'm tuning out the din of humanity, is like, how do I find my own song again? How do I find my own path forward? And then it's like just finding your way step by step by step. I keep knocking this. I'm so sorry. So what's going to help you is we have Laguz. Laguz is the rune of humanity. Or pardon, blah, blah. Yeah, Laguz is the rune of water, and this has to do with emotion, intuition, heart, and flow. So I am going to read this a few ways. First of all, step one is connect to your deep inner heart. Well, not even deep inner heart, just connect with heart because it's upright. So just basically like connect with that. And it sounds cliche and it sounds corny, but honestly, just like ask your heart. Just say, okay, where am I at? Like, what do I need to know? Where do I need to go on this? What do you think about things? Heart. And then also to be aware, very, very aware of your emotions, not to identify with them, but to basically be aware of them and connect with them and acknowledge them and not be dishonest with yourself about what you're feeling. Also, trust your intuition. That's another thing about Laguz, is that connection to intuition. The other thing that this is suggesting is you're finding a new flow, but with yourself, which is great. Because it's, before, with all the people saying you ought to do this and you ought to do that and let's all do this together and let's all do that together, and if anybody's not doing what that is, then they're not with us, blah, 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 all that craziness. So, but now you've tuned that out and you're finding your own path. And you do want to get into a flow with it, but it's like finding a new flow. And it's finding a flow that is very much more in tune with your heart and with your intuition and with your emotions, just being aware of them. Emotions, of course, are like weather, so it's not like you're going to be constantly in tune, you'll be aware of them and you'll acknowledge them and you'll be honest about yourself with them. But really you're finding a flow with heart. And look how this fits into that, which is quite neat. You're basically, as you're flowing forward, because this is what it came from, you're coming from having been connected to whole bunches of other people, and now you've tuned that out, and so you're coming from that, but now your next several steps are going to be in the flow with yourself. What isn't going to help you is, this is absolutely new ground. We have the blank rune. It's like you shut out the din of humanity, and then it was so quiet, and it needs to be so that you can connect with you, which is really important, to your own drummer, and dance to your own music and connect with your own you and your own resonant tones and your own, everything that you are, your note in the song, so that you can be aware of it and so you can flow with it. And that's pretty scary if you've never done this really before. And if this is the first time you've done it. Or even if you're just coming back to doing it from having been very much immersed in other people and just that whole world of, let's just flow with that. And now you're like, let's flow with me for a bit, because let's get myself back like in tune with things that are my truths more. So it is a bit frightening to come from that to like shutting that out, and then it's like quiet. It's like just like silent. And what is going to help you with that is, once again, just get in tune with like fill that silence with connecting with heart first of all. And then when you have that dialogue going on, bring yourself up to where you are connecting with intuition and connecting with like being aware of your emotional states, like being very aware of it, like a weather report kind of thing, and making that your new flow, getting into making that your new flow instead of just rolling with what the flow is going on around you, outside of you. And what this is all going to lead you to is, we have Isa. Isa is the rune of ice. Ice has to do with standstill and stillness, but it's the stillness through which clarity comes. And this is really carrying forward. You're not going to feel like you're being buffeted around so much by the crowd. You're going to be able to be still. You're going to actually really like that stillness that you've discovered when you shut out the din of humanity. And you're going to be able to be still and continue to listen to this as you move forward in this new way of being, to just continue to be connected to heart and be connected to intuition and be acknowledging and very aware of the weather of your emotions, and finding that new flow, which is the flow with you, which really needs to be underlying everything, especially if in the future you do want to connect with other people in the world, which you probably should, but be very careful with it. Like, don't just roll in with any old crowd. Like, make sure that they're resonant with you. Because I think moving forward from that, you're not going to want to go back to what this was, which was just like blind rolling with it. And you want to actually, continue with this as your base kind of thing, like your own, like the truth of you, of your actual you, and connecting with heart and all of that, and make that your base flow. And then anything else that you roll in with, that's going to be your personal current, and that's what's going to carry you through. That's going to be much more true for you. So that is the message that wanted to come through today. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye.